I heard Deputy Tobin say that it takes 8 months to turn around a house by the local authority where he comes from. Well, I have to say to the Minister, and I've addressed several times before, there are many houses, even in the Killarney electoral area, that are 4 and 5 years void and vacant. That's the gospel truth, Council. That's the gospel truth. And I was promised the year before last, and the last year, and this year, and whatever the matter, there's several of them vacant and void, and no notion in the world. There's one of them, the neighbours are even complaining that the vermin are in and out of it, and the briars are growing in over the wall into their own place, and that's not fair and that's not right, and people looking for houses. There's another problem as well. They can't get contractors to turn them around. But Minister, you have to accept that what the department gives to turn around the houses, 11,000 euros. That is, and if the house was done up in the last 6 years, no 1,000 euros, nothing. And then at the same time, if the house needs considerable work, it could take up to 70,000 when they go so far to get the proper BER rating and all that. But the local authority has to foot that, and they don't have it. So maybe that's what's wrong, where some of these houses are going to take a lot of money, but there is a problem, and it hasn't been sorted out, and I don't think it's going to be sorted out the way the system is at the present time. So private renters, then, I told the truth about the situation between Kinmare and Killarney. I gave a figure of about 55 houses that people won't rent out, because the rent that they would get would be about 700 to 800 a month, and by the time they'd pay the tax out of it, they'd only be left with half that thing, 300 or 400, 350 or 400 euros, and that's one problem. Couldn't pay them because they'd have to pay insurance, and they'd have to pay for refurbishment or for anything to go wrong in the meantime. So couldn't just pay them. But there is a bigger issue. If they wanted to get their house back, it's almost impossible to do that. And the crowd that you think are helping the situation, the RTB, they're actually making the story way worse. I met a man from East Kerry the other night in Killarney, and he said, I finally got my house back, and I have it sold, Danny. And I would have put up with everything, but I would not put up with the RTB. They have to be looked at, Minister, and scrutinised to see what they're doing, because they're not being fair. And you know something? They don't even help the people that are renting either, when it comes right down to it. They're not being fair, and they're not helping your situation in providing houses for people, or providing a proper rent structure. They're not doing that. There's a new system now where the system has changed now. Before you had the tenant purchase scheme, but now the local authority, any house that has been built since 2015, they're precluded from selling it to the tenant. Likewise, the voluntary houses, tenants can't purchase them. And you know, Minister and Council, back in time when someone got a house from the council and they got the tenancy of it, they always look forward to purchase it down the road when they got enough money together, and when they got their funding straightened out. They always look forward to purchase it, and they took a special pride in the house while they were renting it, because it was in their mind that they would own it one day, and they kept doing it up and kept it right. But that's not there now. That incentive isn't there anymore, because you've changed the system, Minister. I don't approve of it. Many people are saying it to me. They would prefer if they could own the house someday. And you see, that money, when they pay for the house and buy it out, it is going to the coffers again. And you know, in Kerry they used to use it for doing up the voids, and it kept the thing ticking over all the time. We didn't have voids like that in the past, Minister, and I can't understand why we should have them now. And we shouldn't, because there are people looking for them. And that's another thing when we talk about Killarney. We have no homeless centre now in Killarney. Yet we're housing people from all over the world, homeless people, in the town in hotels and guest houses and what have you. But our own people that become homeless in Killarney, they have to go to Tralee, to the White House. That's the gospel truth, Minister. And that's what's happening in Killarney, and people are very upset in Killarney at the present time. And then the cap, the income cap. You see, Minister, you have the situation, it was described by Deputy Fitzpatrick, where their income isn't enough to obtain a mortgage, and it's too high for to be on the local authority list. And I mean, I had a fella came in to me the other evening, and he's bringing home 880 euros. Bring it home, that's outside of tax. And what he was offered by the bank, by the way of a mortgage facility, was 96,000. So, where is he going? I mean, any house, no matter how, we'll say it may not be right, even for 200,000 euros. He hasn't a hope. And at the same time, he can't go on the local, and the hope he can go on the local authority housing list. He has a partner and a little girl, and he'd like to do something about the house, but they're really up against it, Minister. And I hope that you can understand the concern I have for those people. The HAP scheme is so intricate and so involving that any landlord that would like to rent his house, when they mention HAP, will you take HAP? No way in the world. They won't have it, Minister. It's too, there's too much restrictions. It goes on for 2 or 3 months, and it isn't helping the person that's looking for to rent the house, or helping the man that owns the house. And then we have the other situation, planning. Planning is almost impossible now to obtain in Kerry between national roads. You can't access out onto the national road, even for family members and farmers. Many of them are still in abeyance, waiting, hoping that something will change, that they can come out on the road, build a house and come out on the road. But they've always come out. And they're actually staying with parents, but they want to have their own home with their partners and their children. And then you have the situation where the areas are deemed to be under what's known as severe restricted urban pressure. So you have the farmer, which is great, he will get permission, but if there's some young fella living beside him that doesn't have land, he could buy the site, but he won't get planning permission. And he's from the same townland, he's from the very same place. And even 10 miles east of Killarney, that's the situation. So there's big tracts around every town now precluded, people can't get planning. And all they want to do, Minister, their ask is for nothing. They'll pay for the house, they'll get a mortgage, or they'll get money, or they'll work for it and put it together, but they can't get planning in their own place. And look, Minister, that is a very serious issue. I know I didn't see the program on television last night, but it's wrong and very wrong what's happening. And then we're paying environmentalists, all these groups, Untashka and all the different environmental groups. We're funding them, and they're providing, they can obtain the best barristers and the best legal advice to prevent ordinary people from getting planning. That is not fair, Minister, and that is happening. I see you shake your head, but that is happening, Minister. They have the funds to keep it going and to keep the objections going and to stop. They have many things stopped, and we're, the taxpayer is actually funding them to do just that and to keep them going. Minister, it's very unfair. Look, all I say to you, listen to the things that I've said. I've nothing made up. It's the gospel truth of what's happening in Kerry. And we have serious problems there, and they can be addressed if we'll go to the bother of doing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.